This video is in partnership with Holofly eSIM. Today we're in Brazil for the first time on the channel and we'll be riding 13 hours along the Vitória-Minas Railway, one of only 2 long-distance train services in South America's largest country. There's some absolutely stunning scenery and even a full dining car, so join me to find out what train travel is like in a region where luxury buses rule the intercity travel scene. Welcome to Belo Horizonte, the capital of the state of Minas Gerais. Brazil's 6th largest city has a population of 2.5 million and is the country's 3rd largest metropolitan area, being home to 6 million people. I only spent one night here, but it was clear to see it was a well-kept, friendly and relatively safe place, especially the 120-year-old São José Catholic Church, which was located right next to my hotel. It was particularly memorable for being very beautiful both inside and out. Fast forward to 6 AM the next morning, and I called an Uber for the 1 kilometre drive to the station. Yes, it felt safe here, but I would still rather spend $2 on a taxi than walk at this time of day and with my luggage. As the sun starts to rise, I arrive at Belo Horizonte station around 40 minutes before the train's scheduled departure time of 7 AM. There were already quite a few passengers milling around outside, along with many people hustling trying to sell everything from drinks to chewing gum and even cigarettes. Step-free access to the station can be found down the far end, but otherwise you just queue here outside the main building before heading inside for ticket checks. There are automatic ticket machines here along with a staff ticket office, but you're going to want to buy in advance if possible. The trains can in theory sell out, but usually don't, but more on that later. Then there's the ticket check. I printed my e-ticket, but I saw many other people just have them scanned on their phones, so that's obviously fine too. The guy then pointed me in the direction of my seat. The train is formed of 4 executive class coaches and 5 economy class coaches where I'll be travelling today. I had wanted to travel in executive class, but it was completely sold out with a large Brazilian tour group. Here's an example of our loco for today, but I couldn't get anywhere near it at any point in the trip. There were 2 of them though. Before we board, let's check out our route. We depart Belo Horizonte and head east and then northeast as far as Governador Valadares before turning southeast and then south towards Vitória. Boarding is not level, with 4 steps up from the platform. However, wheelchair lifts are available in the accessible coach, which we'll look at later on. Economy class is laid out in a 2+2 configuration, with all forward-facing seats. Here is mine for the next 13+ hours. Luggage can be stored on the vertical stacks at the end of every coach, or in the large overhead racks which run above all seats. We depart on time at 7 AM. The full route from Belo Horizonte to Pedro Nolasco on the outskirts of Vitória is 669 kilometers in distance and is scheduled to take 13 hours and 30 minutes of travel time. Yes, this is not an express service in the slightest. However, it is cheap, with a seat in economy class costing 81 Brazilian real, or a seat in executive class costing 116 Brazilian real. Now, unless you have a Brazilian ID card number, you can't purchase through the official website. I was lucky enough to have a Brazilian friend who could purchase mine for me. Thanks, Luis. Otherwise, you'll have to buy through a third-party seller at additional cost, or buy in person from the ticket office at the station a few days before travel. Now, there is a Wi-Fi network available on this train. However, it is only a media streaming service and doesn't allow for an internet connection. But luckily, I have a great solution. Holofly eSIM, the leading eSIM provider covering over 200 destinations worldwide, with over 61,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot. Holofly have regular, single country, regional or global eSIMs, but have now launched a special new product, Holofly Plans, which is ideal for digital nomads, remote workers, frequent international travellers or cabin crew. This offers a data eSIM with a monthly subscription which covers 160 countries, with either a 25GB light plan or an unlimited data plan. No contract, cancel anytime. But if you sign up for 12 months, you get 22% off plus an additional 10% off with my code NonstopEurotrip. This means a worldwide unlimited data eSIM from just $45 per month. Just work or stream away, and even hotspot your friends or family too. This is certainly going to be handy for me on this 13-hour train journey. You can get 5% off regular eSIMs or 10% off every Holofly plan subscription. Just click the link above or in the description below and use code NonstopEurotrip at checkout and grab yours today. These trains are run by the Vale mining company as part of a public service to the communities they operate in and through. It's a sad fact that this line and one other in the north of Brazil are the only two remaining long-distance passenger services in the country, and both of these are operated by Vale. We will see some serious mining infrastructure along the route today, along with many freight trains. However, our passenger trains seem to be given priority, which is very much the exception to the rule in places like the USA. Okay, it's time to check out the seats here in economy class. They were actually better than I expected, with a reasonable shape and okay padding. There is also a soft winged headrest, adjustable armrests and a small recline, albeit just on the base. Legroom is good. I'm 6'1" and had plenty of space. There is the remnants of a seat back pocket and a large, sturdy tray table. Each pair of seats has access to 2 power sockets shared with another row. Up above is a TV showing cartoons with Portuguese subtitles, and all windows have curtains. Overall, a good product for the price. Nothing groundbreaking, although I'll let you know how my back feels after 13 hours here. In this first part of the journey, we are passing through the Gandarella Mountains, with some stunning views down over the dense forest and national park. The bridge we are about to cross, El Ponte do Correco Huca Vieira, is the most famous piece of infrastructure on the line, passing over the Ceate Valley. You certainly get a much better impression of it on the approach than when passing over it though. There are a total of 20 bridges and 29 tunnels over this 669km route. Somehow, I thought there would be many more. Toilets can be found in the vestibules of every coach. These are gendered for some reason. However, the water worked, the soap was stocked up, and the dryer was functional. There was a bin and plenty of toilet paper available, along with baby changing facilities. On the whole, they were pretty clean and stayed that way throughout the trip. We are now approaching the first major mine on the route, Gongo Soko, which is in the process of being wound down. It's quite fascinating to get a close-up look from the railway at what goes on here, something that would normally be hidden from public view. This mine used to be one of the biggest gold producers in Brazil during the 18th and 19th centuries, but then transitioned to iron ore extraction throughout the 20th century. All onboard announcements are made in Portuguese only.
Informamos que, nesta parada, o desembarque será feito apenas nas portas dos carros. Econômico 01 e 02. E no carro esse.
Shortly after passing the mine, we stop at the nearest town, which houses and supports the workers. A large number of people both alighted and boarded here, and I suspect most were Vale employees and their families. We will make a total of 28 intermediate stops today between Belo Horizonte and Vitória. Whatever you like to look at, there are some very interesting train window views along this railway line. Everything from forests to mountains and mines to rivers. And it's not fast, far from it. The line uses meter gauge track, and as such the speed is limited to a maximum of 70 km per hour, hence why this journey takes over double the time it would take most European intercity services to cover the same distance. However, the ride quality is not too bad. Okay, let's check out the food options on this train. Firstly, you can bring your own from a local convenience store, as I did for breakfast. Secondly, there's a couple of trolley services which roam the train, one with full meals and the other with snacks and drinks for purchase. Or thirdly, you can visit the dining car, which is my preferred option. This serves a selection of hot meals which are prepared on board, and there is a sit-down restaurant with table service. I went for the grilled chicken, rice, mashed potato and beans, along with a fresh orange juice and a coffee. The total price of all this was 40 Brazilian real, which I thought was reasonable value all things considered. There are good, accessible and disabled facilities on board this train too, much better than I expected. There are accessible seats and 4 proper wheelchair spaces, all with 2 companion seats each. The train also features integrated wheelchair lifts on both sides at these doors. There is also an accessible toilet in the adjacent vestibule to all these. Great job, Vale! Now, here's a look at executive class, which is laid out in a 2+1 configuration. These are large, wide and very comfortable armchair recliners. For the slight increase in price, I would definitely recommend trying to get one of these. It's a shame they were sold out for my trip. Anyway, back to my seat, and it's time to stream some YouTube using my Holofly eSIM. We will shortly be approaching the most major intermediate stop on today's route, Governador Valadares. This municipality is home to around 280,000 people and is located at the halfway point today on the journey from Belo to Vitória. This area has been inhabited for over 10,000 years. However, its current day name was only inaugurated in 1937 after the governor at the time, Benedito Valadares. For much of the trip, we follow the path of the meandering Rio Doce. It's a beautiful sight. The Sweet River runs for 853 kilometers in southeastern Brazil, from the Mantiqueira Mountains to the Atlantic Ocean. If you want ad-free early access to every video, great perks and to help me do bigger and better reviews, then become a channel member from just £1.99 per month. Just click the link above now, or the join button in every video. Thank you! I don't know what it is, but there's just something super relaxing about taking a long but slow train ride. just gazing out of the window at the passing scenery and just enjoying it all go by. This is my first video from South America. However, I have filmed 12 across 5 countries, which will be released over the coming months, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of those. However, if you want to see my review on El Chepe, the spectacular Copper Canyon tourist railway in Mexico, then click the link above now. We have now crossed from Minas Gerais to Espírito Santo, and I have just about summed up everything there is to see on this train, and it will be shortly getting dark, so let's fast forward a few hours and I'll summarise this whole experience. I wasn't really sure what to expect from this trip from Belo Horizonte to Vitória with Vale in economy class, but honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. You don't associate Brazil with long distance trains, and indeed this one and its sister service in the north of the country are the only ones. However, I think Vale have done a good job to offer a European style daily service in each direction, even if it does take far too long, but they can only work with what they have. The staff were friendly, the train was clean, and the seats were reasonable, but I would definitely recommend trying to secure executive class tickets for the small premium in price. It was nice to have a full dining car, including hot meals which were very reasonable in price. Overall, yes, it was a bloody long day and most people will choose to fly, even if it is 3 or 4 times the price. However, the train is a good option for heading to any intermediate stops or having a fun adventure through the beautiful Brazilian countryside. We finally arrive in Vitória around 10 minutes early at 8:20 PM. My back is a bit stiff after over 13 hours in this seat, however it could have been far worse. I could have been on a UK Class 800. Have you been on any trains in South America before? If so, which ones and on which routes? How did you find them? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.